It's October, and you know what that means. Monster movies, horror films, slashers, and enough gore to seriously alter a child's mind. For the better. Well, this month has always been a favorite of mine, not just because I love fall weather, but because turn on the TV and you've got scary movies everywhere. Oh wait, I can't afford cable. Back about a decade ago, and going back for a few years, my childhood stop for Halloween marathons was AMC. Their Monster Fests were not only amazing, but they had real variety. Take a look at this entry from the New York Times, already 11 years old, that says, "Now in its 9th year, Monster Fest is no mishmash of old horror flicks," he said, but a carefully calibrated event designed to create a spooky environment for 9 days and nights leading up to and including Halloween. Funny thing is, 2005 is kind of when it started to go downhill, but it wasn't quite so bad yet. For a good idea of what it used to be, here's a schedule from 2003's Monster Fest. I won't focus on each individual film, but note that the sequential films are spread out and in smaller blocks. So, with the exception of the beginning and ending days of the marathon, you don't really see much beyond 2 or 3 films in a row that are related, which freed up time for lesser-known films. It should also be noted that, true to its name, Monster Fest wasn't focused purely on slasher and psychological horror films. Look, there's monster movies. For comparison, here's 2016's schedule. Okay, the Halloween franchise takes up pretty much the entire first day. Then Friday the 13th takes over after that. Oh look, all the Nightmare on Elm Street films, followed by 6 Child's Play films, 2 of which are repeats. You get a little variety somewhere in the middle, but these are far removed from the classic horror films they used to show. So, they've extended the marathon quite a bit, but now they just repeat entire franchises a week later. But why do I care? Aside from being nostalgic, which I'll admit to despite my recent argument against it, what we're talking about here is curation. TV networks are curators of content, and curators exist still for radio, playlists, DJs, those weird subscription boxes you can order, and even wish lists on Amazon. Now yes, curation means you can potentially miss out on a lot of things, but it also allows you to easily build an understanding of a genre, or find things similar to what you already like, without wasting time and maybe even money on weeding through the bad things first. Not everyone can be a fanatic about movies. I say that because I'm not one. This brings us to cable TV.
Don't let pay TV be the monster in your living room. Pay TV and cable TV companies are seeking the right to charge you for the very programs you now get free.
When commercials did find their way on most basic cable networks, they were less frequent. Don't believe me? Due to declining ad revenue and audience numbers caused by web and mobile, the volume of commercials on some networks has gone up. Oh look, it's AMC. Now, don't get me wrong, arguing against advertisement is beyond the scope of this video. It doesn't take stats to know that cable TV has become a much more valuable space in recent years. The amount of award-winning shows, the competition to premium cable, and the desire for seemingly every channel to own its own content made this inevitable. In cases like AMC, these strategies worked, and the network today is known mostly for its original content rather than any of the movies it just happens to show. In some cases, well, you see what happened. But why hasn't another network come in to fill the space? A good example was Monsters HD, which only stayed around for about 6 years, though to be fair, that was part of a slew of specialty channels created to demo HD content in the mid-2000s. Declining ratings and complex litigation unfortunately killed it, however. The only one that seems to fill this gap, and I don't mean this as an advertisement, is the El Rey network. This fucking channel teases me on Facebook almost every month. Just look at their posts this year alone. Sadly, none of my providers have it. Just saying. For all my lamentations, really the question isn't where have the Halloween marathons gone, but to go back to curation, who can curate these films? If you haven't figured it out already, the answer is you. I know, it's not really a satisfactory answer, but in 2016, we have countless ways to curate our own marathons. There are tons of streaming services around, not to mention that DVDs and Blu-rays are actually pretty cheap most of the time. If you really want it, get it. Now, around this time of the year, I tend to be big on Godzilla movies. I didn't watch as many as I'd hoped, but I was fortunate enough to see this. So although it's comforting to turn on the tube and watch a marathon of horror classics, it's wrong to look at this as something lost. Instead, embrace the choice. Ask the internet if you must. Maybe. And fuck, if you have any friends, make a movie night out of it. AMC still sucks though. Seriously, fuck them for killing Monsterfest.